Hey everyone, welcome back to Love English Lab. Today we're talking about something almost every English learner has experienced watching a movie in English and not understanding much. You sit down, ready to relax, and suddenly realize you have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, it's so common. You feel excited at first, maybe it's your favorite movie, maybe you've seen it before in your language, but 5 minutes in, the characters start talking fast, mumbling, or using slang, and you're like, wait, what did he just say?
Exactly. You pause, rewind, turn on subtitles, turn them off again. Try listening carefully, and finally, you give up. You might even start thinking, maybe my English just isn't good enough.
But here's the truth, it's not your fault. Movies are designed for native speakers, not for learners. The actors speak naturally, with real emotions, background noise, and lots of connected speech. Even many advanced learners struggle at first.
That's right. The good news is, understanding movies in English isn't about talent, it's about training. You can learn to understand them with the right mindset, strategy, and practice. It's not magic, it's a skill.
In this episode, we're going to talk about why movies feel impossible to understand, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Because if you can learn from movies, you'll not only understand real English, you'll start speaking more naturally too.
We'll explore 5 key parts together. 1. Why movies feel so difficult. 2. How real English is different from textbook English. 3. How to train your ears for natural speech. 4. How to learn vocabulary from movies. 5. And finally, how to make movies part of your daily English routine.
By the end, you'll know exactly how to enjoy movies and learn from them, even if right now you can't follow a single scene without subtitles.
And don't worry, we'll keep everything simple and realistic. No complicated theory, just practical advice you can use today. So grab your popcorn, relax, and let's make your favorite movies your new classroom.
And who knows? Maybe the next time you watch an English movie, you'll realize, hey, I actually understood that scene. That's an amazing feeling, and trust me, it's closer than you think.
All right, lights, camera, and action. Let's start with part 1. Why movies feel impossible to understand. So, Michael, let's be honest. Why does understanding movies in English feel almost impossible for most learners?
Good question. I think the first reason is simple. Movies don't sound like the English we study in class. In school or most apps, we hear slow, clear speech. But in movies, people talk fast, they mumble, they interrupt each other. It's totally different.
Yes, exactly. In class, your teacher might say, "What are you going to do tonight?" Very clearly. But in a movie, the actor says, "What are you going to do tonight?" All the words connect, and suddenly it sounds like one long sound.
That's what we call connected speech. Native speakers blend words together. It's natural for them, but shocking for learners. Your brain expects, what are you going to? But it hears, what are you gonna? It's like two different languages.
And it's not only pronunciation, it's also speed. In real conversations, people speak at full speed, sometimes 150 to 200 words per minute. That's a lot for a non native ear.
Right. And when you add background music, sound effects, cars, explosions, or people talking at the same time, it becomes a nightmare to follow.
Another big reason is accents. In movies, you don't just hear American English. You get British, Australian, New York, Irish, sometimes even African or Caribbean accents. Each has different rhythm and vocabulary.
Exactly. I remember when I first watched Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, I thought, wow, I speak English, but I don't understand anything. It felt like another language. But after a few episodes, my ears started adjusting.
That's a great example. Your ears need time to adapt. It's like moving to a new city. At first, everything sounds noisy and confusing, but later you start recognizing patterns and voices.
Yes. The problem is that many learners give up too early. They think, if I don't understand now, I'll never understand. But that's not true. It's not about intelligence. It's about exposure and patience.
Exactly. Your brain learns sounds by repetition. Think of how you learned your native language. You didn't understand everything at first, you just kept hearing it every day until your brain made sense of it.
Another reason movies are difficult is slang and idioms. In textbooks, you learn phrases like "How are you?" or "I'm fine." But in movies, people say, "What's up?" "How you doing?" "I'm beat. Let's hit the road." None of that appears in basic lessons.
Yes, and sometimes you even understand the words, but not the meaning. For example, if someone says that movie was a total flop, you might think flop is a sound, but it actually means a failure.
Exactly. Understanding movies requires not only listening skills, but also cultural knowledge, knowing jokes, references, and expressions that come from everyday life.
Like when a character says, Houston, we have a problem. That's a famous line from an old movie, Apollo 13, but people use it in daily conversation too. If you don't know the reference, it makes no sense.
Right. So, to sum up, there are at least 5 reasons movies feel so hard. 1. Fast connected speech. 2. Background noise and overlapping voices. 3. Different accents. 4. Slang, idioms, and informal grammar. 5. Cultural references and jokes.
And we should add one more, expectation. Many learners expect to understand everything the first time, but even native speakers miss things. Sometimes we don't catch a line, and that's okay.
Yes, that's so important. Perfection isn't the goal, progress is. If today you understand 20% and next month 40%, that's a huge victory. You're training your brain.
Exactly. And that's why I always tell my students don't try to understand movies, let movies train your ears. The more you listen, the easier it becomes.
I like that. Movies shouldn't be a test, they should be a workout. Every time you watch one, your ears get stronger like muscles.
Yes, and one day, suddenly, you'll realize you understood a full scene without subtitles. That's a magical moment, the result of slow, invisible progress.
So if you're listening right now and you felt frustrated watching English movies, don't worry. It's not you, it's just that movies are real English and you're training to understand real people, not simplified scripts.
And that's exactly what we're going to help you with in the next part. We'll explore the hidden differences between real English and textbook English, so you can see why your study materials never sounded like the movies.
Perfect. Let's move on to part 2 and start learning how to bridge that gap between classroom English and real life English. So, David, in the last part, we talked about why movies feel so hard to understand, speed, accents, slang, and everything. But I think there's something even deeper. The English we learn in school is totally different from the English we hear in real life.
You're right. It's like there are two worlds, textbook English and real English, and they almost speak different languages. In textbooks, conversations are clean, polite, and slow. But in real life, people speak fast, use informal words, and don't always follow grammar rules.
Exactly. Let's take a simple example. A textbook might say, "Hello, how are you today?" "I'm fine, thank you. And you?"
Nobody talks like that. In real life, people say, hey, what's up? Not much. You, it's shorter, more relaxed, and full of small phrases that never appear in textbooks.
That's the key. Real English is emotional and natural. In movies, people laugh, interrupt, hesitate, shout, whisper, or change their tone. It's alive. But textbook dialogues are flat and robotic.
Yes, and the reason is simple. Textbooks are made to teach grammar and structure. Movies show how people actually speak messy, emotional, human English.
Another big difference is vocabulary. Textbooks focus on safe, neutral words. But in movies, people use idioms and phrasal verbs all the time. For example, instead of saying, "I'm very tired," a movie character says, "I'm beat." Instead of let's start, they say let's get going.
Right, and that's why sometimes you understand the words but still don't get the meaning, because you learned English word by word, but movies use phrases or what we call chunks of language.
Yes, like, I don't get it. That's messed up. Like, come on, like, you've got to be kidding me. These expressions are everywhere in real conversations, but many learners don't study them because they're not in grammar books.
And that's a problem, because real English lives in phrases, not single words. That's why when you watch movies, you might know all the individual words, but the meaning still feels unclear.
Exactly. And then there's grammar flexibility. In school, you learn rules like do not use double negatives or always use complete sentences. But in movies, people break these rules constantly. They say things like, I ain't got no time, or you coming? No subject, no auxiliary, just natural speech.
Yes, and that doesn't mean they speak badly, it's just informal. Native speakers know when to use I am not going and when to say I'm not going. It depends on the situation, the mood, or the relationship between characters.
That's a great point. Real English changes depending on context. Two friends speak differently than a boss and an employee. A movie shows all these situations. That's why it's such a powerful learning tool.
Absolutely. And another hidden difference is culture. Textbooks rarely explain jokes, references, or everyday habits. But movies are full of them. If someone says, "This is my Matrix moment," you need to know the Matrix movie to understand the meaning.
Right. Or when someone says, we're not in Kansas anymore, that's a cultural line from The Wizard of Oz. Without that background, it's impossible to catch the humor or emotion behind it.
That's why I always tell my students you can't separate language from culture. Understanding English means understanding how people think, joke, and react, not just the words they use.
Yes. And you can't learn that from grammar exercises alone. You need to see and feel the language, how people use it in real situations, how their tone changes meaning.
Exactly. For example, look at this phrase, "Are you serious?" It can mean surprise, anger, disbelief, or excitement, all depending on the tone. In a textbook, it's just a question. In a movie, it's emotion.
That's why movies are the perfect classroom. They show you the real melody of English, not just the words.
So, to summarize, the main differences between textbook English and real English are: 1. Textbook English is slow, clear, and formal. Real English is fast and emotional. 2. Textbook English uses perfect grammar. Real English breaks rules. 3. Textbook English teaches words. Real English uses phrases. 4. Textbook English ignores culture. Real English is culture.
Exactly. And that's not something to be afraid of. It's something to get excited about. Because when you start watching movies with this awareness, you stop saying, why can't I understand? And start saying, oh, that's how real people talk.
Yes, it's like discovering a secret world, the real English world. Once you start noticing these patterns, you'll enjoy movies much more, even if you don't understand every single word yet.
So don't try to translate everything. Try to feel the rhythm, the style, the attitude behind the words. That's how you bridge the gap between the classroom and the real world.
Exactly. And in the next part, we'll talk about something super practical, how to train your ears to actually understand that fast, natural English you hear in movies.
Nice. So, grab your headphones and get ready, because in part 3, we'll show you how to make your listening skills stronger than ever.
All right, Michael, we've talked about why movies feel so hard and how real English is completely different from textbook English. But now it's time to go practical. How can learners actually train their ears to understand that fast, natural English they hear in movies?
Yes, this is the part everyone waits for. And the truth is, your ears are like muscles. If you don't train them, they stay weak. But if you work them every day, they get stronger and faster at recognizing sounds. It's not about being good at languages, it's about daily training.
Exactly. And you don't need to study for hours. Even 15 minutes a day can change everything if you do it right. Let's go step by step. The first tip is simple: choose the right material.
Yes, Many learners start with something too hard, like Peaky Blinders or The Batman. The problem is, the audio is dark, emotional, full of slang, and the accents are heavy. That's like trying to lift 100 kilos on your first day at the gym.
Totally. You need to start lighter. Choose something where people speak clearly, like Friends, The Good Place, Modern Family, or even animated movies like Zootopia or Finding Nemo. These shows are perfect for training because the speech is natural but not too difficult.
Exactly. Once you've chosen a good show, step 2 is use subtitles wisely. Subtitles are a great tool if you use them the right way. Start with English subtitles. That way, your brain connects the sounds with the written words.
Yes, and after a few scenes, try rewatching the same part without subtitles. That's the real test. The goal isn't to understand everything, it's to let your ears start recognizing familiar sounds and patterns.
That's such a good point. Learners often think they need to understand every word, but that's impossible. Even native speakers don't catch everything. You just need to understand the story. The details will come with time.
Exactly. And that brings us to step 3, repetition. Choose one short scene, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and watch it several times. The first time, you get the general idea. The second time, you start noticing words and phrases. By the third time, your ears start recognizing how the words connect.
Yes, repetition is powerful. Think about songs. At first, you only understand a few words, but after hearing the song many times, you can almost sing along. Movies work the same way. Your brain learns patterns through repetition.
Step 4 is my favorite, shadowing. That means listening and repeating what the characters say, like echoing them. Don't worry if you're not perfect. The goal is to copy the rhythm and emotion. It trains both your listening and your speaking.
I love that technique. You can pause the video after each line, repeat it, and try to match the actor's timing. It's like you're acting in the movie. You don't just hear English, you feel it.
Yes, and when you do that often, your ears start expecting how words sound together. You'll notice that want to becomes wanna, going to becomes gonna, and so on. It becomes natural over time.
Exactly. And step 5, maybe the most important one, is don't panic when you don't understand. Confusion is part of the process. When you feel lost, it means your brain is learning something new.
Yes, I always tell my students confusion means progress. You're expanding your comfort zone. Every minute of active listening counts, even when it feels difficult.
Another helpful trick is listening to the same movie in different ways. For example, one day watch it normally. The next day, listen to it like a podcast, just the audio, no video. You'll notice sounds and expressions you missed before.
That's a great idea. And if you really want to grow fast, write down short notes while watching. Not full sentences, just the expressions you hear often, like, I got it, no way, let's do it, you kidding me? Then try to use those phrases later in conversation.
Yes, it's amazing how your brain remembers phrases better when they come from a scene you liked. You remember not only the words, but also the feeling of that moment, the joke, the music, the emotion. That's deep learning.
Exactly. And here's another bonus tip, listen to the same voices often. If you watch one TV series regularly, your brain gets used to the characters' voices, accents, and rhythm. That makes listening easier and builds confidence.
Yes. At first, your ears need stability. Once you feel comfortable with one show, you can explore others with new accents and styles. Step by step, your brain learns to handle more variety.
That's so true. Understanding movies isn't a quick task, it's a gradual process, but the progress is real and permanent. The more your ears get used to natural English, the more you'll understand in any situation, movies, series, YouTube, or real people.
And that's when English starts feeling natural, not like translation. You'll begin to think in English while watching, and that's the best sign you're improving.
So to sum it up, 1. Choose the right show. 2. Use English subtitles first. 3. Rewatch short scenes. 4. Shadow and repeat lines. 5. Don't panic. Confusion means growth.
That's a perfect summary. Listening is like building a muscle. A little every day makes a huge difference. You don't need to understand everything now, just keep training.
Exactly. And once your ears start adapting, it's time for the next step, learning how to remember and use what you hear. Because understanding is great, but speaking naturally is even better.
So, in the next part, we'll teach you how to learn new vocabulary from movies the smart way, not by memorizing every word, but by focusing on what really matters.
Awesome. Let's get ready for part 4, how to learn vocabulary from movies. All right, Michael, we've trained our ears to understand movies better, but there's another big challenge every learner talks about: vocabulary. There are just too many new words in movies. How can someone learn them all?
That's a great question. And the short answer is you don't. You don't need to learn every word. That's the mistake many learners make. They stop the movie every 5 seconds to look up a word, and after 20 minutes, they've only watched one scene.
Yes, I've seen that so many times. People turn movie watching into homework, and that kills the fun. The truth is, you only need to focus on the words that matter, the ones that repeat or that are useful in daily life.
Exactly. English has thousands of words, but everyday conversation uses only about 3,000 of them. And guess what? Those 3,000 appear in movies again and again.
So, the smart way to learn vocabulary from movies is not to collect words, but to notice patterns. If you hear the same expression several times, your brain starts remembering it naturally, even without writing it down.
Yes, that's so powerful. For example, in movies, you'll often hear expressions like, no way, I got it, you kidding me? Let's go. That's crazy. I mean, those short phrases are gold. They make your English sound alive and natural.
Exactly. And instead of writing long lists of isolated words, you can create a vocabulary notebook or a digital list with phrases, not single words. So instead of figure, write down, figure it out. Instead of get, write get along with or get ready. These are chunks of language, pieces that always travel together.
That's such a smart idea. When you memorize a phrase, you don't need to think about grammar rules. It just comes out naturally. And the best part is, movies give you context for each phrase. You remember when and how it was used.
Yes. For example, imagine you're watching Spider Man and you hear Uncle Ben say, "With great power comes great responsibility." That phrase stays with you forever because it's emotional, not just a line in a notebook.
Right? Emotion helps memory. The more you feel something while hearing a phrase, excitement, sadness, surprise, the more your brain remembers it. That's why movies are so effective for vocabulary.
So let's go step by step through a smart routine for learning vocabulary from movies.
Okay. Step 1. Choose a short scene. Don't watch the whole movie at once, it's too long. Choose a scene that lasts 1 or 2 minutes, something interesting or funny.
Step 2. Watch it once with English subtitles to understand the general meaning. Don't stop the video yet. Just enjoy the story.
Step 3. Watch again, and this time, write down 3 to 5 new words or phrases that catch your attention, things that sound natural or useful.
Yes. And step 4. Look them up quickly, but don't translate everything. Try to understand the meaning from context first. If you still don't get it, then check a good dictionary.
Step 5. Repeat and shadow. Try to say the same lines with the same emotion. For example, if the actor says, "Come on, let's do this," repeat it with energy. That helps your brain connect the sound, meaning, and feeling all at once.
Yes, and finally, step 6. Review your phrases later. You can use flashcard apps like Anki or Quizlet, or just read your notebook before bed. The key is to review, not just collect.
That's true. Learning vocabulary is like planting seeds. You need to water them. Watching movies gives you the soil, the sound, the image, and the emotion. But you still need a little repetition to make the words grow.
Exactly. And one more thing, Don't worry if you forget words. Everyone forgets. The goal isn't to remember everything perfectly, but to become more familiar with the language every time you watch.
Yes, because the next time you hear the same phrase in another movie, you'll recognize it instantly. That's when you know it's becoming part of your active vocabulary.
I also like to tell learners to focus on theme words. For example, if you're watching a movie about friendship, notice how characters talk about trust, loyalty, and support. If it's a superhero movie, pay attention to words about courage, danger, or fear.
That's such a great strategy. When you group words by theme, they stick together in your mind. You don't just learn hero, you also remember save, fight, risk, and sacrifice.
Exactly. And you can even create your own movie dictionary. Write down your favorite quotes, idioms, and emotional lines from movies that inspire you. They become part of your personal English story.
Yes, and remember, vocabulary isn't only about memorizing, it's about connection. Every time you enjoy a scene and feel something, you're building memory paths that no textbook can create.
That's beautiful, Michael, and true. Movies make learning emotional, and emotion makes learning stick. So the smart way to learn vocabulary is not about hard work, it's about smart work and meaningful experience.
Exactly. So, let's summarize our steps. 1. Choose a short scene. 2. Watch with English subtitles first. 3. Write down 3 to 5 useful phrases. 4. Guess the meaning, then confirm it. 5. Repeat and shadow lines. 6. Review and reuse the phrases later.
Perfect summary. And once you start doing this regularly, your vocabulary will grow naturally, not from memorization, but from connection, emotion, and repetition.
Exactly. And in the next part, we'll go even further. We'll show you how to make movies part of your daily English routine. Because when you turn this into a habit, your progress becomes unstoppable.
Awesome. So let's move on to part 5, how to turn movies into daily practice. So, Michael, we've talked about understanding fast English, training your ears, and learning vocabulary the smart way. Now comes the most important part. How do we make all this a daily habit? Because learning only works if we do it consistently.
That's right, David. The secret to real progress isn't watching 10 movies in one weekend. It's watching a little every day. Just 15 or 20 minutes of focused practice can completely change your listening and speaking skills over time.
Exactly. It's like going to the gym. You don't need a long, exhausting workout. You just need to show up every day. So, the first step to turning movies into daily practice is simple: build a routine.
Yes. For example, choose a specific time, maybe after breakfast, during lunch, or before bed. Make it part of your daily rhythm, like brushing your teeth. That's when habits stick.
I like to say, don't find time for English, create time. Even if it's 10 minutes, make it your English time. Put on headphones, open your favorite scene, and focus.
Exactly. And here's another tip: start small. Instead of trying to watch a full movie, pick one short scene per day. That's enough. 1 minute of high quality listening is better than 1 hour of distracted watching.
Yes, you can even turn that 1 minute scene into a complete learning session. Watch it once for the story, then again for the vocabulary, and finally try to repeat some lines. That's 3 different skills in one short exercise.
That's a great method. And to make it even more effective, you can keep a small movie journal, a notebook or document where you write down 1. The name of the movie or show. 2. The date. 3 new phrases you learned. 4. One sentence about what happened in the scene.
That's such a simple but powerful idea. It keeps you consistent and lets you see your progress. And when you look back after a few weeks, you'll be surprised how much vocabulary and confidence you've gained.
Exactly. And let's be honest, consistency is easier when learning feels fun. So watch movies you genuinely like. If you love superhero movies, start with those. If you prefer romantic comedies or animation, go for them. Interest creates focus.
Yes, because if you enjoy what you are watching, your brain pays attention naturally. You don't have to force yourself. The story itself keeps you motivated.
Another great idea is to mix learning and enjoyment. Watch one short scene actively, studying and repeating, and then watch something longer just for fun without pressure. That way, you train and relax at the same time.
Exactly. And remember, subtitles are your friends, not your enemies. You can start with English subtitles and later try watching parts without them. The goal isn't to remove subtitles forever, it's to use them strategically.
Yes, that's true. Some learners think watching with subtitles is cheating, but it's not. It's learning. Subtitles are like training wheels when you ride a bike. They help until you can balance on your own.
Beautifully said. And you know what else helps? Rewatching favorite movies. When you already know the story, it's easier to focus on the language. You catch expressions you missed before and start feeling confident.
Totally agree. For example, I've watched Toy Story many times, and each time I understand a little more. Not just the words, but the jokes, the rhythm, and the emotions behind them.
Yes, and that's how real progress works. Slowly, layer by layer. The first time you understand 30%, then 50%, and one day, boom, you understand 90%. It's the result of daily exposure, not magic.
And I think one of the best ways to make it stick is to combine watching with speaking. After a scene, try to talk about it, even to yourself. Describe what happened, what you liked, what surprised you. That way, you're not only listening, you're thinking in English.
Yes, I love that idea. You could even record yourself for a minute just summarizing the scene. It's not about perfection, it's about building fluency and confidence. You'll sound more natural the more you practice.
Exactly. And here's another fun challenge. Pick a favorite line from a movie and use it during your day. For example, if you hear "no worries," try to say it in real life the next time someone apologizes to you. That's how phrases become part of your real speech.
That's such a great exercise. It's like you're bringing English from the screen into your world. And every time you do it, your brain says, ah, this phrase is useful, and saves it.
Exactly. So to sum up, here's how to make movies part of your daily English practice. 1. Watch one short scene every day. 2. Write down 3 phrases in your movie journal. 3. Rewatch to train your listening. 4. Repeat or shadow lines for speaking. 5. Use one phrase in real life.
That's a perfect plan. It's short, fun, and powerful. And the more consistent you are, the faster you'll grow. Learning English through movies isn't just a method, it's a lifestyle.
Yes, and the best part? You're learning without feeling like you're studying. You're enjoying stories, emotions, and characters, and at the same time, your English is improving naturally.
Exactly. So stop worrying about studying English. Start living it. One movie scene at a time.
Beautifully said, David. Now, in our final part, we'll share a reflection, the mindset that keeps you motivated when things feel slow or difficult. Because understanding movies isn't only about listening, it's also about believing in yourself.
Perfect. Let's move to the final reflection. A message for every learner who's ever felt lost while watching a movie in English.
You know, David, I think the reason many learners give up when they watch movies in English is because they believe something is wrong with them, that they're not talented or not ready. But that's not true. The real problem is that nobody ever told them that understanding movies takes training, not talent.
That's right. When you were a child, you didn't understand every word in your own language either. You learned by listening, repeating, and connecting feelings with sounds. It's the same with English. You just need time and kindness towards yourself while you learn.
Exactly. I think we often forget that learning a language isn't just about words and grammar. It's about courage, the courage to keep trying even when you feel lost. Every time you press play on a movie in English, you're doing something brave.
Yes, and it's not a race. Some days you'll understand more, some days less, but every minute counts. Your ears are learning, even when you don't notice. Every laugh, every line, every scene is building your fluency quietly inside your brain.
I love that idea that progress is silent at first. It's like watching a movie scene fade from darkness to light. You don't see it happen instantly, but the light keeps growing until suddenly the picture is clear.
Exactly. And one day, you'll sit down to watch a movie and you'll realize you didn't need the subtitles this time. You'll laugh at a joke before anyone explains it. You'll understand a line that once sounded impossible. And you'll smile because you'll know you've come so far.
Yes, that's the magic of consistency. Movies are more than entertainment. They're windows into real life, real emotions, and real English. When you learn from them, you're not only improving your language, you're connecting with people, stories, and cultures around the world.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to understand everything to enjoy something. Even if you catch only the main idea, that's already success. Because every scene you understand a little better than before means your brain is changing, you're growing.
So don't give up when it feels hard. Celebrate the small wins, the phrases you catch, the jokes you finally get, the confidence you feel building day by day. Every little moment matters.
Yes, you're not just learning English, you're becoming someone who thinks and feels in another language. That's something truly special.
So keep going. Keep listening. Keep watching. Let movies be your teachers, your friends, your daily practice.
And one day, you won't just understand the movie, you'll be part of the story.
Exactly. Because this journey isn't about perfection, it's about connection.
Thank you for joining us today, and remember, your English journey is like a movie too. Every challenge is a scene, every mistake is a plot twist, and the ending is worth it.
Beautifully said. So until next time, keep learning, keep smiling, and keep believing.
See you in the next episode of Love English Lab.